Have you ever had a question about the human psyche? Or are you just stuck in a psychology class and don't know what to do for your research paper? Well, I'm Tabitha and I'm here to present the database Pyscharticles, which will answer all of your questions. This is a database to go to for everything psychology. It is a full-text database, meaning that you don't have to go onto the library, you don't have to go onto internet and web. You can just use this database and get all of the articles that you need. It includes journals. It is basically an online version of countless numbers of journals that have been produced in print. It's definitely reliable sources such as the American Psychology Association as well as the Canadian Psychology Association. There are about 143,000 different articles on this database, and nearly all the journals that this database includes start at Volume 1 and Issue 1. In fact, the oldest journal that they have within the database is from 1894. So it's definitely an all-inclusive database. And it's updated weekly, although it's not every journal is updated because obviously some are outdated. So now let's take a look at the article. Database. Alright, so as we see, the screen opens up to the advanced search, which is probably better since you obviously get better results from the advanced search than you do from the quick search. But we are going to take a quick look at the quick search. So, when you have the quick search, you just type in what we're going to look up, and today we're going to look up obsessive compulsive disorder. Notice that the only thing you can manipulate is like the currency of your article as well as what type, but it's only social studies. You can't designate if this obsessive compulsive disorder is a keyword, a title. So let's see what we get. And obviously, we see that since we have such a general search, we have a massive amount of articles that we found. We found 1,016 articles. However, when we look down here, even though there's a massive amount of articles, which isn't exactly what we want, one nice thing about this database is look at how many peer-reviewed articles that we have. And I know that this is necessary for our research paper in this class, but I'm certain that it's necessary for other classes as well. So out of 1,016 articles, 1,006 are peer-reviewed. So, definitely a good thing. So if we scroll down, we look at our first selection. Therapy processes and outcomes of psychological interviews for women diagnosed with gynecological cancers. A test of the genetic process model of psychotherapy. Nothing to do with obsessive compulsive disorder. And if we look over here at our descriptors, obsessive compulsive disorder is not mentioned in either of them. We go down to section 2, same thing. Selection 3, same thing. However, if we look in selection 4, we can see the italicized words, obsessive-compulsive, as well as in the descriptors, obsessive-compulsive disorder. However, go down, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. None of these have anything to do with obsessive-compulsive disorder. So the quick search, in my opinion, is definitely far too general for any real results. So we're going to try the advanced search. Okay, so this is more like what we're used to using. We have here the different types of, we can designate our words as keywords, author, title, descriptors, which is what we looked at previously with the obsessive compulsive disorder. However, you can get really specific with this database. Like, say you want a specific age in the type of study that you're looking up, since a lot of these are psychological studies. As well as you can look up journal names, and even the methods of the type of study that we're looking at. And if you scroll down, there's more areas where you can manipulate the same concepts, author, title, or journal name. There's also, you can look up in a variety of languages for those who speak or bilingual. And we also have different populations. So say if you just wanted female or animal information, although there's others, you could specify. There's also different ages, ranging from neonatal to very old, so 85 plus. Alright, so we are going to try our obsessive compulsive disorder search again. This time, however, we are going to designate it as a keyword. Search. Look now how many Look now how many articles we have. We only have 117 versus the 1,000 that we had before. And when we look, notice that even our first selection has obsessive compulsive, as does the descriptor, obsessive compulsive disorder, as does the second, and as well as the third doesn't quite, it has it in the descriptors. So overall, it's a pretty good search result when we go even just selecting something like a keyword. However, we're still going to make it more selective. So let's see what happens if we try treatment. We want to know about obsessive compulsive treatment. Now notice there is an or box as well as an and, although this one can change. However, we know that or broadens our searches, so let's see what happens when we do this. And obviously they have skyrocketed even beyond what we had previously to 13,000 articles. And notice again, they have nothing to do with obsessive compulsive disorder. So let's try this again. Let's take away treatment and put it down in the and. So treatment, search. Notice now we have it down to a very reasonable 100 searches. Very good. But if we want something even more specific, say, let's play with our little options down here. So we want information for females in the adolescent age. So we want adolescent females, and we want to know the treatment for their obsessive compulsive disorder. So search. And now we're down to a very, very workable 6 articles. So this one looks good. Pediatric obsessive compulsive disorder. So we are going to select that and mark it. And just as in many other databases, we can mark these and it shows up here 1 marked records. We'll look at that a little bit later. So now if we select the article, if we look here, we see our basic things like title, author, source, and also an abstract, so that way you can figure out if this is the article that you want. There's also, if you look here, here's our female that we selected earlier, as well as our age range just down here that we selected. Down below, there's references, the references that the article used, and even farther down, there are publication history. This doesn't include an MLA or APA citation, but we'll get to that later. Alright, so now if we come up here, we're going to look at the full text article. We can either look at the full text articles in HTML, which just means online, or we can look at them as PDF files. Take note that anything after 1985 can be viewed in either or. However, if it's before 1985, it'll only be available in the PDF. And these do unfortunately take a second to load since they're such big articles, but here we go. So we have everything that we need, and what's nice about the HTML format versus the PDF format is that we have these nice contents, as well as the graphics. They're all labeled, so if we wanted to, we could skip right down to procedures. See? Perfect. Alright, so we're going to look at, now that we know how to find articles, we're going to look at a few other features that this database has. So if we look at our search tools, we can find our search history. So anything that you've currently looked up in this session will be here. So if you found something a while ago that you weren't sure exactly what words you would use, you can find it here and then go back to view results. They also have a browse journals. Like I said, there's many different psychological journals in this database. So we are looking at, they're all alphabetized, and there's 2 under the letter D. So we're going to go to dreaming. Alrighty, and see that it has all the volumes in all the different years. So we're just going to click on a random volume, and we're going to look at one of the articles. And so you can see that the articles are clearly labeled, and we are going to check this one, and then we're going to look at the last feature that we are going to look at anyway of this database. This is, we look under mark records and see we have our 2 marked articles, and we are going to go to Save, Print, and Email. And this is where we can find our wonderful citations that we all just love doing. So if we look under here, we want to use our 2 marked records, and this is where you can choose how you want it cited. They have everything APA, Chicago, Harvard, yada yada, but we are interested in MLA right now. So we're going to hit Create. If your computer's like mine, it won't let you open pop-ups, so you have to wait for a second. Click on a separate. So you click right here. And here shows up your bibliography. So, now you know exactly how to use PsycArticles from beginning to end, from figuring out how to find articles to figuring out how to create your bibliography. I hope that my speech helped you, and have a good night.